crazy after-death intercession story involving this woman right here. So our conversion experiences came from meeting this woman's family after she died. Her name is Maria Esperanza. She had miraculous gifts. She knew Padre Pio. So we were running a retreat recently, like a confirmation retreat, and I wasn't going to go into the Maria Esperanza thing, but something told me to while I was speaking. So real briefly, I just mentioned how I knew her family and stuff. And afterwards, one of the confirmation sponsors, one of the sponsors of the kids, probably in his late 30s, comes up to me and he's really shook. He said, when I was a little kid, I had a neurological problem with my brain, but nobody could figure out what was wrong with me. I was in so much pain. One time Maria Esperanza came up to New York from Venezuela and my mom went up and saw her. So his mom actually gets in line after she's done speaking and actually gets to meet Maria Esperanza face to face. She gives Maria Esperanza his first Holy Communion picture, and he said he looked great in this picture, you'd never know there's anything wrong with him. And just by looking at this picture, Maria Esperanza prophetically reads the whole situation and starts explaining what's going on. And his mom even wrote down what she said. The mom didn't tell Maria Esperanza anything about the situation beforehand. Maria Esperanza immediately says that this boy is suffering a lot, that he's going through a ton, that she feels very sad for this boy, but that he's very special. She says specifically that he has neurological problems with his brain, and that with a lot of prayer and the right doctors, he can recover. And then she says either in 24, 36, or 72 hours, God's going to send assistance to help him. The very next day after meeting Maria Esperanza, by chance, about 24, maybe 36 hours later, they met a new doctor who correctly diagnosed him, figured out what was going on, gave him the right medicine, and he had an almost miraculous turnaround. He's a completely healthy, grown man today. Here's possibly the craziest part about all this. He says to me that he didn't know any of this happened until just a few months ago because he was never into his faith, and a couple of years ago he started getting back into it, and his mom waited till just a few months ago to even tell him that all of this happened. And before the confirmation retreat, he was asking God for a sign that somebody who knew Maria Esperanza, knew who she was, or had met her family, would come into his life and confirm all this for him. And then he came up to me kind of with tears in his eyes explaining all of this. I truly believe Maria Esperanza has been praying for this guy probably for his whole life, probably orchestrated this whole thing from heaven. Now, the church hasn't made her a saint yet. We're not allowed to say she's definitely a saint, but while we're at it, why don't we say a prayer that maybe one day she will be. Servant of God, Maria Esperanza, pray for us.